Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight for 23 ABC News at 5. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight's top stories. Local education officials addressing the announcement from the governor for distance learning to continue this academic year, what they're deciding to do here locally. Plus, Kern County COVID-19 cases hitting the 150 mark. We'll have the latest number of cases from the Kern County Public Health Department. 23 ABC News at 5 starts right now. Good evening. It is learning at a distance. The Kern County High School District will follow Governor Gavin Newsom's recommendation, physically closing schools for the remainder of the semester. 23 ABC's Kylie Walker has more on what districts will be doing.
We've been really navigating through some uncharted waters in recent weeks. In fact, in my time, I'm 57. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Barlow says each district is incorporating different systems for their students.
Some are using Google Classroom. 15, I believe it's even more now, have agreed to use Canvas. Many of the districts are using Zoom and other virtual learning applications.
But many students face the problem of not having internet access. So Barlow says they are deploying buses into neighborhoods that are having trouble with connectivity.
We've set up mobile Wi-Fi applications that are available at all of the bus sites or the bus loops at school sites. I believe there's about 120 across the county.
And it doesn't stop there. Barlow adds they've also ordered MiFis from a number of providers.
And we will be getting those into the hands of students who are socially, economically disadvantaged, who perhaps are in rural areas.
And for those who don't have the necessary technology devices, Barlow says they have been actively issuing out Chromebooks.
And I can genuinely tell you that it is remarkable the amount of work, hours, and creativity that has gone into developing a whole new approach to educating students.
But with this new approach comes challenges.
I'm going to be honest with you, there's no way that all students are accelerating or moving at the same pace.
But Barlow says they are doing their best to keep their students on track to succeed.
Students that were progressing and on track to attend UC or CSU or another college should have every opportunity to do so.
Barlow says some of the districts are looking to move into a pass-fail grading system. They will also take into consideration the students' grades prior to school closure.
That was 23 ABC's Kylie Walker reporting. And as many of us know, a graduation ceremony is a pivotal moment for high school seniors. When we asked Barlow what the plans are on this topic, she said they're taking it one step at a time and they will have alternative options if necessary. And we've been getting reports that Centennial High School staff will not be able to access the campus through this Sunday. Staff also saying meal services have been relocated. Kern High School District says it's due to the school being deep cleaned and it will reopen Monday. The number of positive tests among local residents continues to rise. Kern County Public Health now reporting 158 people in Kern County have tested positive for COVID-19. Of those 158, 155 are residents, 3 are non-residents. There have been more than 4,100 people tested so far, with 1 death reported. More than 2,400 tests for coronavirus have come back negative, and there are more than 1,500 tests still pending. As for how they look in terms of age groups, the highest number of cases is 75 for people between the ages of 18 to 49, 47 cases between the ages of 50 to 64, 31 cases between the ages of 65 and older, and there are still only 2 cases of people 17 and younger. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is asking for the community's help with limiting in-person contact. So today, the department announced it will not dispatch deputies to certain crimes. KCSO says those crimes include fraud, harassing phone calls, identity theft, lost property, shoplifting, and more. If those crimes are not in progress, the reporting party will be directed to the online reporting system. KCSO says the only exceptions are if the party is an elderly or disabled person or if they don't have access to the internet. In those cases, the call will be entered for contact and will be handled as soon as staff is available. We want to turn now to state news. Governor Gavin Newsom holding another press conference regarding COVID-19. He addressed the support that will be coming for small businesses.
What we are calling for today is a one-year reprieve for small businesses where no fines, no penalties will be attached, where they can take upwards of $50,000 as a loan and not have to pay the state those sales tax receipts for 12 months.
That was the announcement the governor made today. He went on to add that it is a bridge loan. That means the money you've already collected, you will not have to pay the state back for 12 months. He said that includes no penalties and no interest. During today's briefing, Governor Newsom also talking about a new resource for job seekers who have recently lost employment because of COVID-19. Bitwise teamed up with LinkedIn to create a job listing for those Californians. For more information on this, head to our website, turnto23.com. Governor Newsom recently announced an executive order on evictions. It gives some limited protection to tenants who are unable to pay due to COVID-19. The order says that those tenants should have 60 days to respond to an unlawful eviction. To meet that criteria, the tenant needed to have paid rent before March 27th. The tenant notified the landlord of the need to delay rent because of COVID-19, has to be before the rent is due or within 7 days, and had to have lost wages due to layoff or impacts of COVID-19. The Trump administration is formalizing new guidance to recommend that many Americans wear face coverings when leaving home. It's in an effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The recommendations, which are still being finalized, would apply to those who live in areas hard hit by community transmission of the virus that causes COVID-19. Officials are suggesting that non-medical masks, T-shirts, or bandanas be used to cover the nose and mouth when outside of the home. During today's news briefing, President Donald Trump also revealed he took the test once again.
It just came out. I just took it this morning, and I took it. It took me literally a minute to take it, and it took me, I guess it was 14 or 15 minutes. I went to work. I didn't wait for it, but he said it took 14 minutes or something to come up with a conclusion, and it said the president tested negative for COVID-19.
That was the second time the president has tested negative for coronavirus. This all coming as Johns Hopkins University announced there have been more than 1 million cases of the virus around the world. Back here at home, the Bakersfield City School District is getting ready to make changes to its meal services. The school district announced on social media it will start reducing the number of sites offering meals to students. Officials say they are doing this to relieve stress on their nutrition teams. Students and their parents should go to the nearest BCSD school for nutrition. This will start this upcoming Monday. All right, we want to turn now and bring in 23 ABC's meteorologist Allison Gargaro with a look at our forecast.
Hey Jess, we had another nice day across Kern County, maybe a bit breezy, and you could probably definitely feel those temperatures slightly cooler than what we were feeling this time yesterday. Looking at temperatures in the upper 60s here in the valley right now, 66 in Bakersfield with those dry conditions, but what we have been tracking is clear skies across the region. A few high thin clouds moving into the mountains this evening, but really we're going to be seeing these nice conditions overnight as well. 61 degrees at 8 p.m. here in Bakersfield, but in the early morning hours dipping into the 40s. So if you're planning on getting active before the sun rises tomorrow, definitely bring that extra jacket because we are going to be tracking some breezy winds, especially through the Kern County mountains and desert. I have more details on a wind advisory that has been extended into tomorrow morning coming up next.
Officials say the homeless are the most vulnerable population amid the coronavirus pandemic, and local leaders have been working on ways to better protect them. 23 ABC's Austin Westfall spoke with the mission at Kern County and has an update about their efforts.
I'm seeing more food insecurity now than I've probably seen in the past in the community.
Director Carlos Baldovinos says he's seen a large increase in the number of people coming into the mission at Kern for food. For example, this past weekend, he says about 500 people came in on Saturday and Sunday each.
So that's 1,000 meals over a 2-day period. That's not the kind of numbers in the past that we furnished on a weekend. I mean, we're probably at half of that.
During this busy time, the mission is taking precautions like adding hand washing stations and implementing social distancing rules in areas like their cafeteria. Officials say the homeless population is the most vulnerable population to the coronavirus outbreak because many have underlying conditions or have nowhere to self-isolate.
Top priority, focusing on the most vulnerable Californians, $100 million in emergency grants now being distributed.
California Governor Gavin Newsom announcing emergency funds to help the homeless throughout the state. About $530,000 going to Bakersfield and $230,000 going to Kern County. The governor eyeballing motel space as a temporary home for the homeless.
I think the idea in concept is good to a point, but then you got to think of the further. It's not just sheltering them, it's about helping them.
When 23 ABC met up with Baldovinos last week, he said he'd be meeting with local officials to discuss how to implement the use of hotels in Kern. But he says as of now, they still need to figure out how to manage them, which includes feeding, watching over them, and taking care of their mental health.
We got to stay tuned and we got to stay very flexible because the governor may come up with some other thing in 24 hours. You just never know. I mean, that's how fluid it's been for us.
In Bakersfield, Austin Westfall, 23 ABC, connecting you.
Although the mission's executive director, Carlos Baldovino, says he's seeing extra food insecurity, he says he's not seeing extra homelessness. Meantime, another record-breaking drop as U.S. unemployment numbers have hit another new high. Unemployment claims have hit 6.6 million. That's another record high as layoffs accelerate in the face of the coronavirus. Officials say businesses will be getting help from the stimulus package in hopes to bring that number down. And stocks shook off a two-day losing streak today on positive news from the energy sector. Oil prices surged 35% after Saudi Arabia called for an urgent meeting between OPEC and Russia. President Trump tweeted he thinks both nations will slash output, ending their brutal price war. It was good enough news to offset the new unemployment claims. The Dow and S&P 500 each gained a little more than 1% during the session. The Nasdaq rose about nearly 2%. A local family celebrating a woman's 95th birthday in a very special way, inspiring hope during these times. 23 ABC spoke earlier today to her daughter, who is also a California Highway Patrol employee.
It means a lot because I can't go in there with my mom and give her hugs, and I can't go see her often like I usually do, and so I can only come outside. So I wanted to do this especially today because she is 95.
With all that is happening with coronavirus, this family is not able to congratulate or spend time with their loved one. However, we'll show you how they celebrated her birthday and the special message from one CHP officer. We're going to bring you that story of hope during 23 ABC News at 7. Well, many businesses, restaurants, and even churches have had to close due to the pandemic. Now it's unclear if one church in Southwest Bakersfield will ever reopen. New Life Christian Church says they are continuing long-distance education to finish out this year. However, they will not be reopening in the fall. The employee 23 ABC spoke to says they are unsure if they would reopen after that. Tonight, a local hospital will be hosting a prayer service for its employees and those affected by the coronavirus. Mercy Southwest Hospital will hold the service tonight at 8. Those interested in attending are asked to stay in their cars to practice safe social distancing guidelines. Prayer services like this one will continue to be held at all Bakersfield hospitals.